Initiating emergency broadcast to all site directors. Listen carefully. You're receiving this transmission because we are currently facing an active, highly classified crisis regarding anomaly SCP-3060. Standard operational priorities are hereby suspended. This threat assessment briefing requires your absolute undivided attention. Here is the bottom line up front, and it is severe. Pandemic-level infection of this anomaly is currently modeling with a 94.7% probability of triggering an AK-class end-of-world scenario. We're actively tracking a rapidly spreading parasomnic contagion that triggers extreme psychosis and physical degeneration. Our containment net has failed, and the window for mitigation is closing rapidly. Acknowledge the following operational briefing parameters. We will cover the sudden threat escalation, the precise REM-triggered contagion mechanics, the entity's predatory hunting behaviors, the commercial breach known as the Curvier incident, and finally, our extinction projections. Effective immediately, SCP-3060 has been officially escalated from Euclid to Keter classification due to global containment failure. Our primary threat vector isn't the physical device itself, it's what it spawns. SCP-3060-A. The physical anomaly superficially resembles a standard non-anomalous continuous positive airway pressure, or CPAP machine. Material analysis of these devices yields a 0% anomalous signature. The deception is flawless. The anomalous properties remain completely inert until the device is worn by a human subject who successfully enters their second REM sleep cycle. At that exact moment, an incorporeal entity manifests within 5 meters, and once this occurs, the host is permanently infected. From then on, SCP-3060-A will appear during every subsequent second REM cycle for the rest of their life, regardless of whether the CPAP machine is ever worn again. Reviewing document 3060-B, we see that these incorporeal entities possess no standard appearance. They begin as featureless silhouettes, but rapidly adapt to the host's unique psychological profile. Manifestations on record include a human infant composed entirely of fused teeth, an elderly woman lacking facial features with severe compound arm fractures, and a naked humanoid covered in tire tracks exhibiting lethal crush injuries. The visceral, psychological nature of these manifestations cannot be overstated. We must now outline the exact mechanics of the anomaly's highly aggressive, proximity-based transmission vector. This is how the contagion multiplies. This process is involuntary and strictly proximity-based. Any human entering a 50-meter radius of an active entity instantly drops into a paralyzed, catatonic state. Then, a secondary, replicated entity spontaneously spawns. This new entity will approach the paralyzed victim, phasing right through solid matter and physical barricades if necessary. It will then phase its hand directly through the victim's skull and vanish. The victim immediately falls asleep and upon waking is permanently infected as a new host. The pathology results in a progressive, irreversible neurological and physical collapse. After just 3 days, hosts experience severe nightmares and chronic fatigue. Within 1 month, they suffer intense visual and auditory hallucinations, compounded by extreme delusions of mind theft. By month 2, the infection reaches sudden hair loss, blindness, cataplexy, and an absolute descent into full psychosis, rendering them entirely unable to distinguish dreams from reality. There is no cure. The danger to containment personnel is immediate and severe. As documented in interview 3060-6, during an evaluation, infected researcher Joanna Corbin suffered a violent hallucination wherein she believed her interviewer had spontaneously burst into flames. Driven by absolute panic, she physically attacked the uninfected researcher to snuff out the fire. End-stage psychosis causes infected individuals to present highly unpredictable physical threats to our staff. Standard containment protocols are critically compromised by the anomaly's aggressive reaction to starvation conditions. We have to distinguish between the entity's 2 propagation modes. Unlike its passive infection mode, where the entity simply waits over the sleeping host and spreads via a 50-meter proximity radius, depriving the entity of targets triggers an active hunt mode. The entity will forcefully detach from its primary host site and actively seek out the nearest sleeping human to initiate inoculation. This predatory hunting is triggered by one of 2 specific starvation conditions, either the immediate death of the host or 7 consecutive days where no secondary humans enter the 50-meter threat radius. This survival mechanic dictates our HYPNOS protocol requirement, which mandates an immediate site-wide lockdown and staff evacuation if any infected host terminates. The current global state of emergency stems directly from a mass commercial breach known as the Curvier incident. The anomaly was initially discovered in March 2015 at a Portland sleep clinic. We believed it was contained. We were wrong. The threat escalated exponentially on October 22, 2016, when a commercial advertisement for SCP-3060 operating under the front of Curvier Pharmaceutical launched simultaneously across over 100 global publications. Operations were rapidly traced to a newly staffed logistics warehouse in Seattle. Foundation intercepts yielded deeply disturbing forensic traces. Completely oblivious staff at both the initial Portland clinic and the Seattle logistics warehouse died in their sleep upon Foundation capture. Autopsies revealed their cerebral spinal fluid was totally saturated in anomalous compounds, specifically SCP-3060A. Furthermore, investigations linked the victims and the mass production directly to users of the illicit SCP-2876 dream-altering application. All evidence points toward a catastrophic data breach originating from the Inarroway Collective. By the time mass censorship protocols could be fully enacted, 3,000 instances of the anomalous CPAP devices had already been shipped globally. Mobile Task Force Alpha 4 Pony Express successfully intercepted 2,700 units while they were still in transit through global logistics networks. An additional 270 instances were neutralized via localized raids upon arrival at their final destinations. Subtracting these secured assets from the distribution manifest leaves us with a terrifying reality. 30 fully active, uncontained vectors are currently operating completely undetected within the general public. We must now model the exponential threat posed by these 30 uncontained sleeper agents currently stationed in major metropolitan centers. Total suppression deployments are active. MTF Alpha 4 continues to monitor global supply chains. MTF Omicron Rho is executing a deep dive investigation into the Wineri collective data breaches to locate the origin point of the manufacturer. Most critically, our global surveillance network is deploying algorithmic monitoring to triangulate uncontained infection clusters by tracking sudden, localized spikes in violent mass psychosis and catatonia. Which brings us to the critical algorithmic variable. Given the extended latency of the pathology, taking up to 2 months before full psychosis renders an outbreak visible, and the utterly invisible nature of the 50-meter phase threat radius, what is the estimated secondary transmission rate of those 30 missing units? The answer is unquantifiable. A single uncontained sleeper can indefinitely chain infect surrounding populations in densely packed areas. All site directors are ordered to initiate Code Red containment readiness immediately. With 30 invisible vectors actively hunting in the general public right now, you must ask yourself, who among your staff will fall asleep tonight, and what will wake up next to them?
This concludes today's briefing. If you wish to maintain your current clearance level and ensure continued access to the Versarian database, a subscription to this channel is mandatory. Secure your connection by leaving a like on this file, and log your requests in the comments section below to dictate which anomaly we unseal next. Stay vigilant and expect your next set of logs every day. Secure, contain, protect.